On July 29th, 2026, this small, niche, underground bum channel named Harpian uploaded a video that did absolutely buns. Wait a minute. Thank you so much for 160,000 views and 7,000 subs! This is honestly so crazy to me. It's been a good 5 days, and my video has all but blown up. I cannot express just how grateful I am that all of you loved Project Jaide so much. I read a bunch of comments, saw some fan content, which were really amazing. I'd like to give a special shout out to Bonnie on TikTok for making the first ever Project Jaide edit, Vin on Twitter for writing the first ever Project Jaide fanfic, and Sate on Twitter for creating the first ever Project Jaide fan art. And to all the amazing people that have made fan content, thank you. I never thought I'd see my characters represented in someone else's creation, but I'm so glad Andrew and Jayden's story reached enough of you to make that happen. So, to celebrate such an amazing event, welcome to Project Jaide QNA. A few days ago, I sent out a Google form and a YouTube community post and collected 100 of you guys' questions. These questions were split into 3 sections: lore-related, character-related, and miscellaneous. Throughout the video, I'll have the current question I'm answering be shown on the screen, so you can skip ahead or back to your heart's content. However, before we start with the Q&A, I'd like to address some things people have pointed out in Project Jaide. First, the joke I made about Jaide being Asian. I apologize if it sounded like a microaggression. I myself am 100% Chinese, and I thought it was funny to put in that line because I've been hearing it my entire life. However, I now know what I thought was a silly joke only solidifies harmful stereotypes and keeps others from seeing certain groups as people instead of just a label. I will definitely stray away from making these jokes in the future. Second, my mentions of mental disorders, like when Jaide called themselves this word and I questioned if they had DID. I was not aware this word was a slur. It is entirely my fault that I did not do enough research when writing those lines. I am very sorry if I offended anyone. The last thing I want is to spread harmful representation, especially with a topic as sensitive as mental health. I want my future content to deal with heavier topics and explore complex themes, so I will try my best to research as much as I can and contact professionals if needed. If there's anything else you found weird or problematic, please call me out in the comments. I'm a high schooler with a whole world of information to learn, so I really appreciate all your critiques and suggestions. Without further ado, let's start the Q&A. Lore question number 1. How did Jaide know the references if they came out after he died? Okay, so basically, if you don't know what the question's referring to, the references that I had Jaide make in the videos, like the Dream SMP one, the Unstable Universe one, the Durlord one, they all came out after Jayden died, because, you know, Jayden died in 2023, so there's no way he should have known those references. And the answer to that is Andrew actually updated, like, the AI's memory, because, you know, Jaide, the AI, is supposed to simulate if Jayden was still alive. And if Jayden was still alive, you know, obviously he would love the Unstable Universe, he would love, you know, watching Reese's videos. So it's like, with the AI, Andrew's trying to pretend that Jayden never died at all. So, you know, of course, he would still continue to like Minecraft videos, and that's how he knows. Question number 2. What did the diorite being gone mean? Also, there was diorite in the cave. Alright, I genuinely just did not notice that there was still diorite left in the cave, but let's take a little field trip. So, my original thought process with, you know, the diorite being gone was to show how the AI is, like, slowly crumbling. It's falling apart. And, well, yes, it's because of the bug that allowed Jayden to, you know, alter the AI's outputs, but also it's literally, it's a makeshift AI. Like, Andrew built that out of scraps and pieces, so it shouldn't be able to sustain such a large, memory and all that. And I didn't elaborate on the diorite any further in the actual video, which is something that I should have done. But basically the diorite just means the AI is falling apart itself. And if, I never sent in that code, if Project Jaide were to continue, this world would slowly become unplayable as the AI continues to corrupt it and remove things from it. And yeah, that's basically that. Now let's go back. Lore question number 3. What was after the last door Jaide never got to go through? So, if you remember in the video, after the last potions room, there was a door, and right before Jaide pressed the button, Achilles appeared right behind them. So, let's take another field trip. Let's fly all the way over to the potions room. And yeah, as I was building the puzzle rooms, I literally just put them across the hill from Jaide's map. And the render distance was set to pretty low so that we would never see it. Basically, this is the last room. Right, if I can fit through this, right here. And, we do the whole sequence where it's whoa, Achilles right behind us. And I imagine there's gonna be more testing rooms behind this door. Obviously, I never built it because, well, we never see it, but there's more things that Andrew would have wanted to test the AI on, for example, maybe how Jaide would interact with a mob, if Jaide would interact with it like Jayden would. Because the test rooms shown in the actual video, they're really broad with their purpose, game knowledge movement, that's all the big stuff. And Andrew really wanted the AI to get the nitty-bitty details right. So yeah, there's more test rooms after this one. Okay, that was lore question 3. Now, lore question number 4. How did you come up with the concept of this ARG? How did you think of Jaide's name being Jaide? How did you think to involve Chinese numbers as codes? Great questions. So, how I came up with the concept of this ARG was that I was watching a bunch of other ARG videos, and each time the protagonist would type in chat, if they ever made a typo, they would go back in and fix it. And I thought, why not keep the typos? Why not make the typos the codes? And that just kind of escalated to what we have now. Unfortunately, I think I did lose my original inspiration because in the footages, whenever I would make a typo when I'm typing as Jaide, it would be habit to go back in and fix that. So that's my fault, but yeah. How did I think of Jaide's name being Jaide? With this, literally, I was just sitting in a car ride, and I was trying to brainstorm names for our protagonist, and I thought, oh, Jaide, the Rock, that's pretty cool. What if you add an I to it? Because you know how fictional characters are named, you just take a random name and add some letters. And it was only coincidence, or a sign from the gods, that switching the letters would make it Jaide. Now, how did I think to involve Chinese numbers? The final code 5201-14 was actually added way later in the development process, as I was finishing up with the story and the script for Jaide's chat messages. I knew I wanted the final code to be a combination of different typos, and I was wondering what number I could make it to make it more significant, and I was like, wait a minute, it would be so sad, it would be so doomed if I made it like a final goodbye. So now we have our beloved 5201-14. What ideas did you scrap for Project Jaide? That is actually a really good question. There was a first draft of the final document in which Jayden straight up tells us that he's going to self-destruct, and I left that out and instead made the self-destruction a kind of realization that I, as a narrator, make at the end, because I feel like some people, if they knew that Jaide was actually going to himself for good, then they wouldn't go through with the function. And that's the last thing that Jayden wants. someone else that thinks he should live. So from Jayden's perspective, I feel like it made more sense that he left out the detail that he was going to self-destruct for the betterment of Andrew and, just for everyone. Other than that, the only thing I remember scrapping was an early version of the redstone room. I was trying to make some sort of sand maze where a bunch of pistons push around a sand block, but I'm not good at redstone, like, at all. I could not, for the life of me, to get it work, and that's what made the redstone room what we have today, with the amazing puzzles that my friend PanicZip designed. Lore question 6. When Jade/Jayden was typing, were the typos made by the algorithm or Jayden himself? Same with the signs. Was it a subconscious decision or did Jayden take over for those brief moments? The thing with Jade being two entities in one body is that I imagine there's not really much of a distinction between the two, at least not anymore. The longer Jayden's consciousness is trapped in this sandbox, the more he sort of melts into the algorithm, and the longer the AI trains and receives information from his brain, the more it becomes him. So, the typos and signs that led to the discovery of the final code was a mixture of both Jade and Jayden, because Jayden could only do so much to the AI's outputs, if any of that made any sense at all. Lore question 7. What was the cause of Jayden's death? How did Andrew run away with his remains, and how long was it until Jayden became conscious again? This is a loaded one. I never had an actual solid cause of death for Jayden, but you guys can theorize any sort of accident that leaves the majority of the body intact. My one idea was a car crash, but you guys can really think of whatever. And after Jayden's accident, I imagine he was brought to probably a hospital or something, and he passed away from his injuries there. And Andrew was by his side the entire time, and when the two were left alone, Andrew just kind of set the place on fire and booked it. Yeah, he's kind of crazy. And Jayden was dead for a good while. I don't know what kind of sci-fi stuff Andrew got up to, but when Jayden woke up and saw nothing, felt nothing, heard nothing, knew nothing, that was scarier than death. Also, there is a reason Jayden's death date is June 6th. It was supposed to be the date that Patroclus died on. I don't know if that's correct at all, but I found like one article on Google that said Patroclus' death date is approximately June 6th or so. Lore question 8. This is a long one. Theory crafting here, but I noticed in the video that the final code is sent at 11:03 a.m. It is impossible to know where your time zone is, but according to the news site, it took at minimum 10 minutes for the function to activate and explode the AI. I don't understand why Jayden would put a timer on the self-destruct function. I feel like this should have just happened instantly. Is this oversight or intentional? Throughout the 3 years that Jayden was trapped, he learned and memorized Andrew's routines and movement patterns to know when he'd be in the warehouse and when he'd be out. So Jayden only allowed the self-destruct function to happen when Andrew was least likely to get hurt. However, he miscalculated this time and sent off the explosion when Andrew was still around, which led to Andrew's injuries. And why was Andrew around, you ask? I guess that's something for you to find out in the sequel. Lore question 9. Where did you find the news article page? Is it real? Did you make it? I'm surprised a lot of people asked if the article was real because in the final moments of the video, I actually messed up the editing and showed the Google Sites URL at the top. But yeah, I did not find the article, I made it. HNN, as you see in the article, it says HNN, like news or something. It actually stands for Harpian News Network, so the article is very fake. There was no explosion in Macomb, Missouri. As for the image, that one is real. I just found it off Google. Lore question 10. What if I sent in the wrong code or didn't send anything at all? Project Jaide would continue, and Jayden would wait in his digital cell and watch Andrew's sanity slip away like sand in an hourglass. Lore question 11. In the potions room, did the sunflower and warped roots represent Akil's and Jade? Yes! Absolute yes. I thought it was a really cute, or maybe really depressing detail, that those two items, the sunflower and the warped roots, are the only two things Jade keeps in their hotbar when they get /killed. But yeah. Lore question 12. How did I get the idea to put Morse code on Jade's Minecraft skin? Honestly, I was just making Jade's skin when I put a random string of pixels down and I was like, wait a minute. This sorta looks like Morse code. And here we are today. Lore question 13. How did Andrew survive 3 years in isolation? How did his family not find out? Andrew is like the smartest dude you'll ever meet. I don't even know all the details, but I'm certain he made such an expert plan that no one knew he was still alive, or was the one to set a literal hospital on fire for that matter. The warehouse he relocated to was also far enough so that no one could possibly know him. As for how he survived, you'd do anything for someone who means the world to you, right? But in all seriousness, he lived like he wasn't alive. He ate at most 2 meals per day and only slept when he passed out from exhaustion. It was especially hard in the beginning because he had to cope with his grief, figure out how to create Jade, how to preserve Jayden's body, where he was going to get his funds and materials. Yeah. Sad, depressing, obsessive stuff. Lore question 14. How did Andrew connect Jayden's brain to an AI? How did he have such advanced tech in the warehouse? Bro, like, I don't even know. Okay, I know there's tech out there that reads your brain signals and translate them into words or actions, so maybe Andrew got his hands on some of those. Think of Jayden's brain like one big USB stick, and Andrew's just importing data from Jayden to the AI Jade. As for equipment, I think he just sourced them online and picked them up from like a post office or something. I imagine he would have had some savings from the job he had before Jayden died, so he was able to fund the basic stuff. Lore question 15. Was the diorite statue significant? There is the vague connection you can make with the fact that a statue immortalizes someone's being. Andrew's goal with Project Jaide was to bring Jayden back from the dead, therefore immortalizing him, but otherwise the statue is low-key just an excuse for Jayden to go mining. Lore question 16. How exactly was Jayden able to possess the AI? Since Jayden's consciousness was the direct source of information the AI used to learn and train from, the two are linked together physically and, I guess, metadatally? I don't know the word, but Jayden's able to influence some things the AI does because they're literally like one body, like they're linked together. Also, don't even ask me why, bro. This is all like sci-fi high-tech stuff. I'm just a computer science student, and yeah, I don't know anything. Lore question 17. Will Andrew ever know it was me that made Jade self-destruct? Yes, there will be a sequel to Project Jaide, and things will go down. Lore question 18. I noticed in the beginning of the video when Jade is looking through the book written in Mandarin, when the translated segment was shown, it left out the part of page 3 referring to Xiaoan. Who are they? Is it referring to Akil's? And then thank you for the compliment. I'm so glad someone pointed this out. Oh my god. Let's go over it right now. So on one of the book pages, Jade writes about someone named, right here, Xiaoan. These two characters in English, I guess it translates to Little Anne, which is supposed to be a Chinese nickname for Andrew. So, yeah, very cute, very, very sad. Lore question 19. What imperfections did the AI have? Why did Akil say it wasn't ready? I would like to think that in Andrew's obsession to create a perfect copy of Jayden, he lost sight of who Jayden truly was. Like, sure, he memorized the way he speaks, the way he laughs, the way he acts, the way he moves, but you can't just graph a living being out on a chart that way. So, Andrew was always tweaking the AI to be more and more like Jayden, when in reality he has already strayed far from his original purpose. So the simpler answer to your question, because the AI was too perfect. Alright, that's everything for the lore questions. We are now moving on to character questions. And just for the sake of it, I'm gonna put on Andrew's head, cause why not? Alright. Oh, where's that wandering trader? Watch this, guys. What a great intermission. Oh, I kind of feel bad. What are you looking at? Yay! Nothing happened! Okay, alright. Character question number 1. What is the relationship between Andrew and Jayden? Are they brothers? Before you burst out with Doomed Yowie, I think the brother interpretation is valid because familial love could drive you to insane lengths. However, and I assume the larger population of you, don't think they're related at all. Personally, I think their love was romantic, but just because I'm the creator doesn't mean you have to think of them as romantic lovers. They are their own characters and you can interpret things however you'd like. And speaking of relationships, we need to find a ship name. I actually have some options right here. I'm gonna post a poll on my YouTube community post so you guys can vote on these options, or you can just tell me if you have any better ones if you think mine suck. Here are the options. We have Aki Jade, Achilles and Jade. We have Jade Duo. We have Eternity Duo, Eternal Amber, and Achilles is Jade. My favorite is Eternal Amber because Amber is only so special because of the bugs they trap within. Do you see the connection? Anyways, the post will be up probably soon, so yeah. Character question number 3. What are Jade/Jayden's pronouns? Why do you alternate between they, them, and he, him? Alright, so I really want to talk about this one. Jade goes by they/them because Jade refers to both the person Jayden and the AI Jade. They're inseparable because they're now one being. Jayden himself goes by he, him because he's just a dude.
Hello there.
And I called the AI Jade alone by an it because it's an artificial intelligence and has no gender. And if you were wondering, Andrew goes by he, him. Character question 4. Sexualities of the characters. You can headcanon whatever you'd like as long as it stays true to their relationship and their characters. I have no say in this. Character question number 5. Is Achilles' name Achilles as a reference to Achilles? Why does he have an underscore in front of his in-game name like Jade? Yes, Achilles' name is supposed to literally just be Achilles. I made his real name Andrew Kells after I made his in-game name because I thought it made more sense that his in-game name was based off his actual name. He was never meant to be Achilles, but the world revolves in painful ways. And the underscore in front of his name is just to match Jayden's in-game name, which is underscore Jade. I just thought that was a cute detail. Character question number 6. Did Andrew name Jade Jade? Was the AI in Jade's name intentional? So some people, well actually a bunch of people, asked if Andrew named Jade, Jade, and the answer to that is no. Jade is the name, well, Jade was the name Jayden gave himself when he was still alive, and it was only the biggest coincidence in the world, or fate, that his name worked for a code. Also, the AI in Jade's name is very much unintentional, though I'm glad it worked out in the end. Character question 7. What do they look like IRL? I posted a little doodle of Andrew and Jade, and specifically Jade, not Jayden, on my YouTube community post as a thank you for 1,000 subscribers. Don't think of any of that as canon or official art because I would love to see your designs, and I've already seen a few that were really, really good. So yeah, you can headcanon whatever it is you'd like, as long as you keep them, the same ethnicities like Jade is Asian or Chinese. Character question 8. Sigh. Did they ever get to make out sloppy style for real, for real? I am not one to discuss the contents of their love life, nor the activities they indulge with each other. Character question 9. Will the silly little twinks reappear? Is there more in store for them? I probably mentioned this already, but there will be a sequel to Project Jaide. However, it is quite the big project, no pun intended, so it'll be a while until that comes to fruition. I want to improve my skills by taking on smaller projects and experiment with a bunch of different things. So, yeah, it'll be out at least in a year or so. But let me know your theories in the comments. I would love to read them. Character question number 10. What happened to Andrew after the explosion? Like the news article said, he's receiving medical care and most definitely going to therapy. He'll be really upset for a while. A long while. Character question 11. Will he be okay? The sun rises outside the hospital window. It beams a brilliant gold unlike anything Andrew has ever seen. Above that blinding ball of light, the sky transitions from yellow to blue. Shouldn't there be green too? If the sky is truly as endless as they say, the colors should mix and never be separated. But that's just how the sky is. That's just how the world is. And deep down, Andrew knows he'll never see green in his sunrise. But his veins are the color of jade. His heart is the shade of teal. He is made of memories of a boy he loved and will always love. And maybe that's enough for him. Hope that answered your question! Character question 12. Why does Jayden speak Mandarin? Is he Chinese? What's the purpose of the book in the beginning? I have this weird thing where I include Chinese representation in everything I make. Like I mentioned before, I am Chinese and Mandarin is my first language, English being my second. I made Jayden Chinese not just because the codes worked, but I also wanted to see more of, my people in all kinds of media. We're a pretty cool bunch if I do say so myself. And the purpose of the book is to literally just introduce the fact that Jade speaks Chinese. The only other lore reason I could think of is so that Andrew can track Jade's progress in sounding more and more like Jayden. Character question 13. Are there any quirks/random facts about our duo? I have one. Andrew is really good at shooting games and aiming in general. And the reason for that is because the voice actor for Andrew, my friend Frote, was at a shooting range the day I posted the Q&A form. So yeah. And for Jayden, he has dimples, and this is because in my Jade's design, they have 2 dots on their face that are supposed to represent the Morse code I, so it only makes sense that, Jayden's real life version would also have those 2 dots. Character question 14. What's my favorite part about creating them? Honestly, I just love their dynamic and the contrast in their personalities. Their relationship is definitely a topic to be discussed because in my head, there was always that trace of toxicity, at least coming from Andrew's side. He was always desperate and cared a little too much. Character question 15. Did they have a hangout spot when Jayden was alive? Ooh. I would imagine the rooftop of Jayden's childhood home. Very cliche, I know, but I feel like Jayden's the kind of kid to be reckless and climb on his roof to watch sunsets and stars, and Andrew was dragged along with him. Character question 16. What are their character alignments and MBTI? That is a fun one. I took the MBTI quiz as each of the characters, and I could say that Andrew's character alignment is true neutral with the MBTI INTJ-T, which is actually my own MBTI as well, and Jayden would be chaotic good with the MBTI ENFP-A. Character question number 17. Were the characters based on real-life people? I guess you could say I projected a lot of myself in Jayden, but other than that, they are completely figments of my imagination. Character question 18. Does Akio's Minecraft skin have any significance? The star on Akio's sweater is supposed to be a reference to the summer Hikaru died, where Yoshiki is shown to have a bright star shape in his chest that represents his soul. In my head, I thought it was neat to show just how much life Andrew has in him, and how he's throwing all that away for Jayden. Character question 19. Is Jade's skin supposed to look like anything, or just a Jade? Literally, I was just spamming colors when making Jade's skin. I mean, I had to make the skin chaotic enough to hide Morse code, but not look like straight color vomit. They just look like a living rock, and that's exactly the vibe I was going for. Character question number 20. Did Andrew ever find the code 5201-14? How would he react? Like I mentioned before, he will find out in the sequel. I can't imagine he'd react particularly well. First of all, he'd be really pissed at me. Like, really pissed. But once he gets over that anguish, he'll be sad. Like, really sad. Only time can soothe this wound. Character question number 21. What were Andrew and Jayden's families like? How do they react to their deaths, then Andrew's revival? Andrew is the second child of 4. His family wasn't anything special, nor anything bad. They were average people who ended up with a prodigy son. If I had to use one word to describe them, it'd be quiet. Like, you don't really hear much from them. I don't remember if I showed it in the video, but the news article I found at the end has credit to an editor with the name Matthias Kells, Andrew's older brother. When the Kells family found out Andrew was still alive, they were beyond themselves. Andrew would never tell them about what happened those 3 years he was gone, but I imagine they'd figure that out by themselves eventually. And on the other hand, Jayden's family were fun people. Jayden was an only child, and his parents wanted him to explore the world and pursue his interests as much as he liked. When he died, they just couldn't bear the grief, so they moved away to spend their retirement in silence. Character question 22. What is Andrew's ethnicity? I imagine he'll have some German descent, but maybe that makes him sound a little bit too much like Durlord, so you can headcanon whatever. And last character question, number 23. What were their personalities like before everything went down? Jayden was the funny, popular, outgoing kid that is secretly just the sweetest guy ever. He was always genuine and optimistic about everything in life. However, I would say the extra part of him, extroverted part of him, is only a front that he puts on when he's socializing. And when he's with people like Andrew, he's just really chill and easygoing. Andrew himself was more reserved and likes to keep to, himself. However, once you get to know him, he becomes the biggest geek and yapper. I really like Andrew's character because he's very complex, even before the events of Project Jade. Deep down, he was just always a little different with the way he viewed the world. I don't want to say it, but he's practically a yandere for Jayden. Okay, that wraps up our character questions. However, so many of you guys asked backstory stuff about both our characters, so I have compiled a little line of signs, and we are going to speedrun this section. Well, maybe not speedrun, but, Alright. Their age. Andrew was 26, 23 when Jayden died, and Jayden is the same age as him. How did they meet? They met in high school, but didn't really become good friends until they went to the same college and become roommates. Andrew first disliked Jayden because he thought he was loud and obnoxious, but very quickly changed his mind. And Jayden looked up to Andrew because he was so smart and nonchalant, and their friendship only grew. What were their majors in college? Andrew majored in neuroscience with a minor in comp-sci, and Jayden majored in architecture. What are their favorite colors? If it wasn't obvious, Jayden loves teal, and Andrew likes gold or yellow. Their favorite dishes. Jayden loves a good plate of fried rice, and Andrew loves pumpkin pie. Don't even ask me why, he just does. Favorite flowers and flowers that represent them. Andrew's favorite flower is the forget-me-not, and one that represents him is the sunflower. Jayden's favorite flower is the daffodil, and one that represents him is the cherry blossom. What are their favorite songs? I don't know their favorite songs, but I can tell you their favorite artists. Jayden loves the vibes of Gorillaz and Malcolm Todd, and I know it might sound surprising, but Andrew listens to a bunch of funky, angsty artists like Jack Stauber and Mitski. What are their favorite animals? Jayden loves hedgehogs because of Sonic, and Andrew adores manta rays. Favorite movies? Maybe I'm projecting, but there's this Chinese movie that's so freaking hilarious that I know Jayden would adore. It's called Hello, Mr. Billionaire. And I also just know Andrew would love the series Now You See Me. I think he would really like spy movies and pause the movie to theorize how they did their crazy little spy tricks. What were their plans for the future? They were gonna travel the world and probably move to Europe. And who fell first versus who fell harder? Andrew fell first, Jayden fell harder. Alright, that's all of them done. Let us move on to miscellaneous questions. Miss question 1. You mentioned in the description that Project Jaide was inspired by finding a player who doesn't exist and Minecraft ARG but the protagonist is a speedrunner. What aspects of those two ARGs did you use or inspired you the most? My response for that is going to include spoilers for both the ARGs, so... Oh, let me take off Andrew's head. Be sure to check out those videos before you listen to the next part. And both the ARGs have similarities where the main character is some sort of robot. Like in Finding a Player Who Doesn't Exist, our main character, Alex I think his name was, he is hooked up to something that keeps him mining bedrock for like 6 years straight. So I just really like the concept of a living person being hooked up to a machine and trapped there for experimental purposes. Now for Minecraft ARG but the protagonist is a speedrunner, it's the same thing. We find out that Andre is actually a program and an AI, which inspired Jaide. Miss question 2. What is my favorite game genre? My favorite Pokemon? And if I could talk to another ARG creator, who would it be? Honestly, I didn't expect anyone to ask about me, but I don't think I have a favorite game genre, but my favorite games are Silksong, Hollow Knight, and Nine Souls, so I guess you could say I'm a big fan of Metroidvanias. My favorite Pokemon is Wailord, or Wailmer, and if I could talk to another ARG creator, it would definitely be Weefies, though I have no idea what I would say. I would probably just geek out and make them think I'm crazy. Miss question 3. Who built the map? Who built the redstone puzzles? I mentioned this in the description and earlier in this video, but my genius friend PanicZip built the 2 big redstone puzzles, and everything else you see in the map is built by me. Although I did use tutorials for this Greek, forgot what it's called. Pantheon? Oh, I don't remember. Yeah, this little temple, and also the spiral redstone door that unlocks each of the test rooms. Like, I actually genuinely know nothing about redstones, so... Miss question 4. Will you share the maps in the future, and will I share Project Jaide's world? Honestly, I don't think any of my maps are good enough to be shared, but in the future, if I do a really big project with coherent worlds, like something like Weefuse's Searching for a World That Doesn't Exist, I'll probably post them. And as for Project Jaide's world, I don't think I'll share it, purely because it's so disorganized. Like, if I were to share the game file, you would have this Q&A set up, and, you know, all those rooms in the distance that I never moved out of the way. And there's just so many things that go on behind the scenes that are there for my convenience that were not shown to you guys. But if you really wanted them, I think I can think about it. I can think about it for sure. Miss question 5. Who inspired you to make ARGs? My absolute go, Weefies. I fell in love with the medium of ARGs after watching Searching for a World That Doesn't Exist, and from there on, got to know so many talented and amazing creators. Miss question 6. How long did Project Jaide take you? And tips on writing / creating ARGs. Honestly, I'm not sure I'm the best person to ask about the creation of ARGs, but I'll try to help however I can. Project Jaide took me 1 full month of work with building, scripting, recording, and editing, but I've had the plot idea since April, so take that as what you will. I was also in school when I first started planning for Jaide, so I would really condense all my work time to just 2 months total. Now, about creating ARGs, I like to first find a topic or theme my video will revolve around. I'm a sucker for media that relays some sort of universal message, like Project Jaide's theme of moving on and letting go. Along with that, I'll also figure out what separates my ARG from other people's. Like, what's the kicker? What's the twist? Just try to get creative and don't conform to trends. Then I decide what codes, ciphers, or encryption to use, if any. At the end of the day, I'm telling a story, so whether or not it has cryptic messages is all up to how I want the public to view my video. After that, I'll think of characters, their dynamics, how they fit into their world, then I'll brainstorm the actual Minecraft world, then build, then write scripts, then record, and just all that jazz. Sorry if this sounds convoluted. I highly recommend watching different creators and just taking notes on how they format their ARGs. Miss Question 7. What will you do next? More ARGs? Romance themed? Alright. First of all, nothing I make is romance themed and will be romance themed. Any relationships between characters in my videos will not be the highlight of that video, unless I'm telling a story about love or feelings and the like. I don't want romance to be the only thing people see when they watch my content. One person already commented on Project Jaide, saying they're glad they got spoiled for yaoi slop by the comments, and that is the last thing I want anyone to say about my videos. Yes, there will definitely be relationships in my future content, but don't let that become all I am to you. Now, I'd love to make more ARGs, but I'm not sure I fully grasp the genre just yet. At the end of the day, I am a storyteller, and efficiently weaving in ciphers into my story just isn't something I'm too good at. I'd say my genre of videos lean toward unfiction, like destroying a world that doesn't exist, with minimal codes and ciphers and more plot. With that said, I do have a bunch of ideas and future projects planned, but do be aware I am a high schooler. I'll try my best to dedicate my free time to making content, but you know how school is. Also, horror is not my expertise. I do want to experiment with horror aspects, but I feel like it's been so overused at this point that it doesn't really matter much to audiences. One last note, me and a bunch of my friends are starting a Minecraft SMP soon, and if the things we do there are content worthy enough, I might make a video or two. But who knows? Only time can tell. Miss Question 8. Will my future ARGs revolve around similar themes to Project Jaide? I plan for all of my videos to be centered around some overarching message. Project Jaide was about moving on, another might be about self-improvement, mental health awareness, just things that go deeper than a regular scary Minecraft video. Miss Question 9. Will you make Yuri soon? Yes, it is in the works, and of course, it's also doomed. Miss Question 10. Playlist of all the music I used. All the music I used in Project Jaide are creator-free, and a lot of them I took from the YouTube Creator Studio? Oh, the YouTube Creator Audio Library, sorry. There's this one composer named Scott Buckley who makes the most amazing classical pieces, like the finale song in Project Jaide. I'm not rich enough yet to afford an Epidemic Sound subscription, but I'd really like to use that platform for my music in the future. Miss Question 11. When's the Discord server coming? Okay. This is really embarrassing, but I don't know how to manage Discord servers. Like, I know I can get mods to do it, but how does that process even work? If you know a good bit about this, please let me know. I am getting one of my friends to help me with the creation of the server, and it's already in the works, but hopefully it'll be out soon. Miss Question 12. Why is the video quality so bad? Okay, this is not a real question, but I had one comment in Project Jaide pointing it out, and the reason for the terrible quality is I don't have a PC. I am literally raw dogging everything on my ThinkPad Gen 11X. It's crazy, yeah. Also, I'm scared if I make my OBS settings any higher, my laptop will explode. But here's my OBS settings if anyone can give any suggestions to make it better. On the topic of this, if you were also wondering why the aspect ratio of Project Jaide was so weird, like there are those two thin black borders around the entirety of the game footage, that's because my laptop's resolution is for some reason 1900 by 1200, and I didn't realize that until like the creation of this video. So I will definitely make sure I have the right aspect ratio in the future, but yeah, sorry you guys had to sit through all that. But oh, another person asked if I would stream anytime soon, and I really want to, but then again, it's just the problem of equipment. I don't think my laptop could handle it, and even if it could, it would probably just be very bad viewing experience for you guys, but maybe I'll get a PC in the future, and all will be solved. Alright, last question. How was your day? This is a real question asked by someone. Thank you for asking this. I've been so overwhelmed with happiness, excitement, and an odd feeling of dread from getting this much attention on the internet. I'm ecstatic that Project Jaide did so well, but now I'm kind of scared I won't live up to expectations for future content. But I will very much try my best. Alright, and that wraps up all of our Q&A questions. If you had any questions and you weren't able to submit one on the form, please leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer as much as I can. Once again, thank you guys so much for all your love on Project Jaide, and I'll hope to see you soon in the Yuri ARG. But yeah, this is Harpian signing out. Bye bye. Yay! I don't know how to like conclude that. Wait, I swear I had like something else I wanted to say. Oh shoot, okay. One last thing before I go. I forgot about this. My upload schedule. As I said, I am in high school and school is starting very soon. It probably will already have started by the time I post this video, but I hope I can get at least 2 videos in by next year's January. I want to do one during Thanksgiving break, which is late November, and one during winter break, which is kind of very late December, early January-ish. So just, I guess, look out for that, and I might post some random things on my other social media platforms, but yeah, I think that's all I had to say. I'm gonna stop yapping. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Bye bye. This is what it feels like to be a freaking content creator.